Now I request Sumitra Chowdhury, Advocate, Supreme Court of India, to please deliver her talk.
Hi, thank you, Soumya. Thank you to all the organizers for giving me this opportunity once again. I'm on the travel, so I'm sorry in case the disconnection. I didn't want to miss any opportunity to interact with you guys, and that's why I didn't cancel. Coming to COVID-19 and what this disaster, what this epidemic has actually put us, I would want to put forward my point saying that the lockdown was actually a massive logistical and implementation challenge for all of us. And looking at the geographical diversity that we have and the population, the income inequality, the population density. So this global pandemic has actually become a big challenge for law enforcement as such, for the society as a whole. So, in a country as vast and diverse as India, emergency responses will have to be tailored. So, it cannot be a one size fits all. So, it has to be a tailored response. And that is what our state and national government, our central government, try to do it. And to do this, it becomes really necessary that the state and the central government work hand in hand, which they did very effectively. So, the National Disaster Management Act 2005 is a very comprehensive act, and it has pretty much all the clauses, all the law that is required for the machinery to operate in situations like this. So, this pandemic has been like a crime which knows no border. So, it is not only that we fight this individually, but together. It has actually given us a lesson of how we stand together and fight a situation like this. Taking you to the act, in exercise of the power section 621 of the Disaster Management Act, there is a power to the central government to constitute a committee. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, good. So, in exercise of the powers under Section 621 of the DM Act, the central government had issued orders on 24th of March directing all the ministries and departments of Government of India to take specific measures according to the states and their requirements. So similarly, MHA, the state governments, everybody sprung in action and they had announced lockdown according to whatever the situation called for their particular state. So basically, when it comes to epidemics, there are three laws to be aware of, and that is the Epidemic Diseases Act, which is a very old act, 1997. Then there is the Disaster Management Act 2005, and then obviously there are provisions related to penal provisions related to our IPC 1860. So the Epidemic Diseases Act, it does special measures and for containing the outbreak. So you must have heard a lot about Section 188 IPC during this time. So there is a lot of action that the state implementing officers get under this act. So Disaster Management Act, the act gives a provision wherein there's a NDMA, National Disaster Management Committee, that is formed, and the president, the prime minister, is the chairman of that committee. Under what is good for the country and how to implement those laws accordingly. So there are certain provisions in the Disaster Management Act which are of penal nature, and they extend from Section 51 to Section 60, which tells what all constitutes an offense when it comes to disaster management. So Section 51 of the Disaster Management Act provides for punishment of two different kinds. During the disaster management, when a certain guideline has been passed and somebody who doesn't follow it, or who either obstructs the officer or refuses to comply with that act, becomes liable for action under Section 51. So section 52 also is a penal provision again, wherein a sentence has been prescribed. Similarly, section 54. So it is not only for the citizens, but also for the officers who are supposed to enforce the provisions of the act and who are not able to dispose of their duties properly. See, COVID-19 has posed a lot of threats to us as common citizens. So, looking at the legal aspects, looking at the citizens' rights and duties, it is important that we all work hand in hand along with the enforcement agencies and let them do their work properly by cooperating with them. Because it is a national emergency, definitely it's a global pandemic. So it's an emergency for everybody around the world, and it is important that we do our duty properly to ensure that we fight with this and emerge as a winner. So a law can only prescribe what to do and what not to do, but it is basically the citizens and their duties and responsibilities which ensure that something has been done properly. So even after the 3 months lockdown, the country has gone through a lot of economic, it has taken a lot of economic brunt. There are a lot of people who are unemployed. There are a lot of issues. People are not able to pay their school fees. There are huge EMIs that has been pending for so many months. There are no sources for earning. So it is really important that at this time we all ensure at least the basic thing that we could do is follow the law. So I would just say that just follow whatever the guidelines we have been getting. The state is trying its best to help its citizens, and so is the law trying to do. So there are a lot of PILs that are reaching the Supreme Court, that are reaching various high courts, where people have been trying to get the relief, and they have been quite sympathetic to issues that have been generated due to COVID-19. So I just want to end with this, saying that kindly remember your rights, but also remember your duties. Thank you.
Thank you, Sumitra ma'am. Now